Okay, here are my audience for my speech. Daniel, sit down.
Try and get into it.
All right, here you go, David. Record it for me. Okay, so why should the FDA ban commercial food dyes in our food for the health and well-being of the American people? I'm going to read you off 2 products, and I want you to tell me which one you guys think, by show of hands, which one is better, either option number 1 or option number 2. Option number 1 has a list of 19 ingredients. Potatoes, oil, which is made up of canola oil, corn oil, soy oil, hydrolyzed wheat, hydrolyzed milk, dextrose, salt, citric acid, sodium acid phosphate, dimethylene, and then in repeating is dextrose, salt, canola oil, corn oil, soy oil, and hydrogen soybean oil. Or option number 2, potatoes, vegetable oil, salt, and dextrose. By a show of hands, which option? Option number 1 or option number 2? Option number 2. And let me tell you that option number 2 is McDonald's French fries in the British colonies and in Europe. Option number 1 is the U.S. McDonald's French fries. In our country, dyes and food dyes rule the gamut. For example, in McDonald's Strawberry Sundae here in the U.S., you get strawberry toppings with red dye number 40. In Europe, you get real traditional strawberry toppings. There's no reason for it. But commercial companies argue for it. They say that the consumers want it. It's more vibrant colors. It's more stable. It's cheaper to make than using natural food dyes. And since the consumer wants it, that's what they're going to get. But at the same time, it causes problems with our health. And at what cost does it become too much? And for example, in the FDA, it says that children, or actually all of us, can only have 5 milligrams per keloid body weight of yellow dye number 5, 3.7 milligrams of yellow dye number 6. I'm going to pass this out, and when you notice on the left hand of the column, that was for 1940s, and if you see the other column, you'll see what ours is today. If you notice in the columns, 65 milligrams more of yellow dye number 5. And that's on average what the average child consumes. Commercial dyes traditionally used to be made with tar and coal. Now they're made with petroleum and crude oil. Now critics say that that's oil, we shouldn't be consuming it. Commercial companies say, oh, but it's been processed so much that you're not even getting it. But again, we know different. It's causing health problems, it's causing behavior problems, and at what cost? In 1920, Dr. Feingold was a pediatrician. He started noticing the connection in his patients and started in 1965 paying more attention to it. And in 1973, at the Mayo Clinic, presented his findings. He saw a direct connection between behavior and food dyes. He asked his colleagues and argued with his colleagues, saying that as scientists, we needed to further research it. And they agreed, but he realized as a physician that his families couldn't wait 20, 30 years. So he created the Feingold diet. That took out the dyes. And families have been following it to this day and have seen tremendous results. Some of the behavior problems that you see, passing this out, are cancers, tumors, behavior problems such as ADHD, aggression, sleep issues, GI issues, bedwetting, eczema, dermatitis, migraines, and the list goes on. Again, if we're using commercial food dyes, at what cost is it doing it to our health? In 2009, a British study showed that it was causing cancers and birth defects and tumors in animals that were used in laboratories. Based on that study, the European Parliament banned them and said that animals are no longer allowed. You're no longer allowed to use commercial dyes on animals. That begs the question, what is so special about us as humans that we can handle these commercial food dyes and not have behavior and health problems where animals are? we're not. We're not any more special than they are. In 2012, Joel Nigg co-authored a study. He also found again that behavior problems are caused by, there's a connection with children with behavior problems and dyes. He again begged for our government to take it out. He said on the one hand, he sees that we need more studies to show that and to support it, but yet at the other hand, there are so many studies coming in showing it. Why do the risk? We need to stop having it in our food system. In 1958, the FDA created what is called the Food Additives Amendment, or the Dewey Amendment. What that amendment did was cause, John Dewey said that any kind of food additives needed to be cut out if it had zero risk to our health. And in 1996, President Clinton took it away on behalf of the companies, because they said there's no way we can do that because we have to use the pesticides, we have to use this, and it causes a problem. At that same time, GARS was created by the FDA, which is known as generally recognized as safe. These food dyes have been grandfathered in, basically. Since the 1930s that they've been used, they don't need to be retested. But we need to argue with our government to have them retested, because these studies are proving they are not safe. They're not recognized nearly as safe compared to other countries. One of the things that we can do is push, as consumers, push to have our dollars, and push the companies like Kraft Mac and Cheese, General Mills, and Nestle, and them to continue to make the dye-free products here in the United States, as they have done in Europe. Europe hasn't experienced any economic backlash because of it, which has been argued. We need to use our tax dollars for more people. We can give them more profits by doing so. And we also need to demand that our government close GARS, close this loophole, because this loophole, the FDA does not have to, the companies can bring new products on the market and not have the FDA oversee it. For example, trans fat. Look at how long trans fat has been around, and now it's quietly, as of 2015, been pulled off the market with no fanfare. In conclusion, as you can see, food dyes have no place in our system anymore, and they need to be removed. Thank you.